everyone and welcome back to another Batman Miniature Game 3rd Edition Battle Report for the channel. Today for you we have a 350 rep Batman Who Laughs team going up against a 350 rep organised crime crew featuring a leader slash boss who has been quite significantly changed in the Batman Miniature Game app. So it's important to keep up with that kind of thing because they are looking at these old miniatures from 2nd edition and adapting them better for 3rd edition. And it is a really quite significant change, so I'm very curious to see how the leader will do today. But let's get started by looking at the team. So there's never too much to say about Batman Who Laughs team because they have very limited options about what they can take and what upgrades they can have and so on. Being led by the man himself, of course, and then the Commissioner is coming along. He's kind of interchangeable with the Damien Who Laughs, they're the same rep cost. And the other one might make an appearance depending on who dies. And then we have the 4 Robins Who Laugh. Just generic, all of them the same. Upgrades wise, the Batman Who Laughs has the Darkness upgrade, so he projects a 4-inch bubble of always in cover. And the Commissioner has no limits, so he can take blood damage instead of stun damage to do efforts. He's not got that much HP, so it's probably not super great, but what can you do? It's a shame there isn't more of the Secret 6 available, but they're probably too powerful, the ones that they haven't covered. And too hard to fit in. It's already too hard to really fit in the Batman Who Laughs with the Grim Knight, who is also, even with his point reduction for being in this team, it stifles you a bit too much. You can only imagine how bad it would be if like evil Wonder Girl or Supergirl or evil Shazam was available for the game as well. Either way though, we have this normal setup. I think their deck choices have been slightly changed in the app, but it's still basically a mix between Joker and Batman. And here is the 350 rep of organised crime being led by Lex Luthor. And this Lex Luthor has gone under significant changes as previously mentioned. He is now an Intel support character. So he's not really on the table and you can no longer take his upgrade to have his war suit. His war suit version is actually eternal now. You can still use him in the DC miniature game if you wanted to in that suit. It's a shame they didn't have the suit as a separate character now if you still could get a Lex that's on the table to fight. But it does suit him much more to just be an Intel support. So that's what he is now. He still has a bunch of support rules, +1 to take the lead, +2 resource points, exhaustive planner, a bunch of stuff like that. I think he has golden or provoke, one of the two. He's scientific, so he can do 2 special actions. So he's a harassment piece, and he now has a new influence attack, which doesn't do any damage, but can force a 4-inch move on a target, which I think the court has now as well for the Court of Owls. So he's bringing along his LexCorp troopers, of course, the LexCorp Heavy Trooper, and then 1, 2, 3, probably not in the right order. The Heavy Trooper has the advanced weaponry upgrade to give him accurate, so and it's already got assault, so that's actually a really, really dangerous weapon. The one that's kind of tilting here has a grapple gun and backpack, and I think that's it for their upgrades. And then from the Black Mask collection, they have some representation, because Lex just has that kind of authority, I guess. So we have Black Mask Thugs 1, 2 and 3, again probably not in the correct order. He has a bulletproof vest, the one with the Vega-esque claw. The one with the sniper has a silencer so that there's no dodging to be done against his attacks. And then the computer intrusion guy who's FaceTiming with his mother, he's just here for a good time, basically. So there might be some more gear I'm forgetting to mention because Lex does provide a bunch of extra funding. Anything that's relevant at the moment will get mentioned during activations. So we are all set up with deployment done, organised crime are to your left and no surprises, they'll be taking first activation. They also have a 2 model advantage on the Batman Who Laughs team, so 2 passes. We can take a look at who has Audacity and how they're lined up in a second. Once we cover objective cards being played, there's only one, it's a phase 2 from organised crime. We're covering the Juice, target friendly model, not the boss. That model reveals an enemy suspect marker and lives to the end of a turn. Not a high chance of it scoring on turn 1, but it's being played on LexCorp Trooper 1, that's the one who has the grapple gun and backpack. So that gives him the best opportunity to actually score it. Let's take a look at the lineup here. The Black Mask Vega Thug is under there, next to LexCorp Trooper, that's the one with the Kryptonite Blade. I think that's 2, and then 3 is the one with the gun there, and then the Heavy Trooper is obviously over there. He has Audacity, the computer intrusion. Black Mask Goon has Audacity, so does Lex, and so does the one with the grapple gun and backpack, basically in a big line. Then over here we have a couple of the Robins Who Laugh next to the Commissioner, one of which has Audacity, so does the Commissioner. They're both touching the sewer grating. The Batman Who Laughs himself with Audacity is right there next to another Robin. And then off on his lonesome is the 4th Robin, who also has an Audacity marker. With that, we are jumping into Battle Round 1. So first activation for Organised Crime was LexCorp Trooper 2, the one with the Kryptonite Blade. Well, it's actually called Electric Blade, but it looks like a Kryptonite Blade. He did not have Audacity, but he moved up 8 inches and started within 8 of Lex, so he used that free Inspire to manipulate, put down a suspect marker, just a normal one, and that's it. So rather than use a pass, the Batman Who Laughs team activated the Robin, who was on the flank with Audacity, moved forwards 12 inches, you can just kind of make out where he was there, and using his tactical action, put down a stinky fish. So we have, it doesn't look fresh in play already. The LexCorp Heavy Trooper activated next for Organised Crime wandered up 8 inches to give him eyes on the the Robin Who Laughs that just moved over there and unleashed his massive cannons on his back. They have Assault, which means he can move and fire at full rate of fire with a -1 to hit, but the accuracy upgrade purchased for him from Advanced Weaponry basically balances that out. It's a beam weapon, so the strength die is a 2+, ignores cover, etc. But the Robins Who Laugh all have the small rule, which means against ranged attacks they get counted as +1 defense, so that puts them at 5. And as a result, only the strength die got through. One other hit would have been enough to kill him, because they only have 4 health. But as a result of being so small, just the strength die, 2 blood, still very much alive, which was not expected. The Batman Who Laughs activated no one because they used one of their passes, so it was back over to Organised Crime. The Vega Black Mask Thug activated without Audacity and not in Inspire range, so he has simply moved up there as a bit of a honeypot. The other pass the Batman Who Laughs team has was then used, that's all of them gone now, and Organised Crime as a result activated the LexCorp Trooper with the triple blood hand cannon. Didn't have Audacity. Didn't want to, actually no, he could have put down a suspect marker, he'll put down a suspect marker, but he just moved his 8 inches over here to have kind of like eyes on for this general area, but he will put down a suspect marker right there. Well, with no more passes to fall back on, it was the man himself who chose to activate next. He's got a 10-inch move and he used it to come down the street over here. Tactical action, he put down a suspect marker just to have it down there. His special action is the one that matters this turn though. He used gold on the Vega Black Mask hired goon. Opposed willpower check, he easily did it, and then as a result the poor thug has been moved 4 inches towards him out of position because there was meant to be a little bit of an ambush going on there, and within the threat radius of these 3 over there. The Black Mask hired goon that's FaceTiming with his mother activated next. He moves a pretty impressive 10 inches and moved up to where you can see him next to the 2 cars there. For his own tactical action he put down a suspect marker, and then for his special action he used computer intrusion. I don't understand the physics of how this works, but he hacked the fish and made it move 2 inches. Not enough for him to do anything about it, but did bring it a little bit closer. The Robin Who Laughs, who was right at the bottom of the table here next to the Commissioner and the other one activated, he had Audacity. His movement easily allowed him to get into base to base with the newly moved Black Mask Thug. They both efforted 1 time, and he normally does blood stun damage enervating 1 with his claw attack, but as you can see there's nothing but blood damage there. That's because Apex Predator was played as a resource. When a model within 8 inches of a friendly Batman Who Laughs successfully completes a melee attack, change all stun damage to blood damage. Now Lex could have used Exhaustive Planner to cancel this. The reason he didn't is because if that had been split blood stun, he still would have been unconscious thanks to the 1 effort he did to himself, and with him getting damaged, and the reason that event marker is there, Pinched Mobster could be put into play. So a model can manipulate that marker to move it 4 inches, it just stays on as well, and if it makes it to the Organised Crime deployment line, it scores for a massive 3. So, swings and roundabouts there. The Black Mask Thug with the silenced sniper rifle next to Lex activated and then immediately unactivated, but not before doing the hold breath. You can take between 1 and 3 enervating levels, and for each level you take you gain a defense marker, which he can use next turn to give himself +1 to the strength die and +1 to his chance to hit with that triple blood sniper, so it makes him pretty deadly. The Robin, who was next to the Commissioner, activated next. No Audacity, but just within 8 of his boss to move up 12 inches and put down a suspect marker right next to the event marker for the Pinched Mobster. The last LexCorp Trooper activated, LexCorp Trooper 1, that's the one with the grapple gun and whatnot. He used his grapple gun as a special action with a movement action. He was also next to his boss for that free Inspire. He used the Inspired Manipulate to remove the suspect marker that the Batman Who Laughs, we'll come around this way actually, the Batman Who Laughs placed down, but that triggered so long it's been a gas. So the top criteria, which is now why there's a LexCorp suspect marker there instead, but that does score and put the Batman Who Laughs team on the board for 2. As long as that LexCorp Trooper lives to the end of the turn, that will also score for them, recovering the juice for 3. So they're still at an advantage, assuming it scores. He attempted to use his Reinforced Gloves, Close Combat Master, on the Batman Who Laughs. They both efforted twice, but he just couldn't crack the Defense 5 to do any damage there. The Commissioner activated next and ended up where you can see him, but started his turn by goading the LexCorp Trooper 1 towards him, which worked. He then unleashed a gun attack on him. All the LexCorp Troopers though have medium armor. They don't have great defense stats, but medium armor is taking away 2 attack dice, which helps, which means he couldn't move and shoot at him. Shot from where he was though, 1 hit got through for 1 blood, 1 stun, but you'll notice the poison icon there. That is because Corrupted was played as resource for 1. A model damaged by an attacker that's within 8 of the Batman Who Laughs suffers the poison effect. So he has again. Lex could have used Exhaustive Planner on that. Didn't seem worth it. So last activation in turn 1 for Organised Crime was Lex Luthor himself. There's not really much he can do this turn, so he simply moved his 8 inches over here. He's going to try and help score that pinched mobster in the next turn. And last turn for the Batman Who Laughs was the Robin who was behind the Batmobile there. No audacity and not within 8. He simply moved into base to base with the LexCorp Trooper 1 down here and did nothing else. So that does take us to scoring for the first battle round. At the end of battle round 1, everyone who is conscious with stun damage has healed 1, and of the cards in play, because there is no other cards being played in phase 4, the Recovering the Juice does score, putting Organised Crime on the board for 3 because LexCorp Trooper lived and did reveal a suspect marker in his turn. But the Stinky Fish survived to the end of the turn, so that has scored for 2 for the Batman Who Laughs team, keeping them not very far out in front. It wasn't a very high scoring first round, honestly. With that, we can jump into battle round 2 and see how things change. It's going to get more bloody, I think. So top of the second battle round, however, totally forgot about the poison check that had to be done, and it was failed, so LexCorp Trooper 1 has taken 1 more blood damage. He's on half health, he's got 4 endurance. There's one phase 1 card being played. It's by the Batman Who Laughs team, and it's another Joker themed card. They're on a lot of those right now. Let's Dance. So if the Commissioner or the Batman Who Laughs himself take damage this round, they'll score for 2 points. So a little bit of protection for them there. No other cards, but we can take a quick look. Basically all the Batman Who Laughs audacity is down here in a row, so that Robin doesn't have any, and neither does the other Robin up there who's probably going to get murdered. And we have Lex down here with audacity for the Organised Crime crew. 2 of his suits here, including the heavy suit, and the computer intrusion guy up there. They are also taking first activation again. The +1 helped there as well. So with that, let's see what happens. So first proper activation of the turn was the LexCorp Heavy Trooper using the second of his 3 loads of ammo, and he shot at the same Robin Who Laughs, this time more or less almost getting a perfect amount of damage on him. He had +1 again from being accurate, no minus this time because he didn't need to move before firing. 6 blood equals that Robin being turned into paste. He'll be removed in a second. Afterwards, he moved slightly just to give himself eyes on down here. And for that kill, 2 points on the board for message job. An enemy model is removed as casualty and also $100 of black market money. So first activation for the Batman Who Laughs team in battle round 2 was the Robin in base to base with LexCorp Trooper 1. He just initiated felonious assault, efforted 3 times, and the LexCorp Trooper's too wounded to have done any really. Lost 2 dice to medium armor, that's also why he efforted, but he got 4 hits through for 4 blood, 4 stun. It doesn't really matter, but just to get out of the hand, Apex Predator was played for 1 to turn all that into blood, so really it's 8 blood. But again, it doesn't matter because what's there is enough because he only has 4 HP. That he is dead, and as a result, Seasoning the Mix scores as he was poisoned. And there's a discard going on as well after that as a result. Oh, totally forgot to mention, but this Robin and all the Robins Who Laugh are cannibals. So don't ask me how he managed it, but he gnawed through that metal suit when he killed that LexCorp Trooper and just chowed down, healing to the 3 stun he did to himself. And correction upon correction, the LexCorp Trooper is 38 rep, I think. And because he died within 8 of the Batman Who Laughs, we now have another free Robin. Because there was 1 missing. If you had the full 4, you wouldn't be able to get 1. But thanks to that 1 dying at the top of the turn, he's back in Pog form. LexCorp Trooper 2 activated for Organised Crime. He didn't have audacity, but he could make use of that inspired manipulate by moving up and then manipulating the event marker for Pinched Mobster and moving it back. Incidentally, there has been opportunities to put down another Pinched Mobster, but the location of it was not advantageous, so organised crime are holding on to that for the future. Well, it was time to make use of that Robin that they didn't know they were going to get, so the Robin that has respawned as a result of the Lex Trooper dying, activated without Audacity but next to his boss, moved up his massive range, put down a suspect marker, and it is another turn of a stinky fish being on the field. This one much easier to get rid of, but that could just be plots within plots. Lex activated next for organised crime. He moved up and then manipulated the event marker for pinched mobster, moved it back 4. It's just outside of the 8-inch deployment line, so it's going to need to be manipulated again. From where he is, for a special action, he used Persuasive on this Robin who laughs. At the end of his activation, he targets someone in line of sight. They have to be the next person to activate, and you can't get around it by using a pass. So he's doing something next. Well, that Robin decided to try and smack around the LexCorp Trooper 2, gone to base with him, efforted twice to counteract the effects of the medium armor stealing away 2 dice. The LexCorp Trooper didn't use any, and it's the first massive whiff of the game. There was absolutely no harm. Well, he got some hits through, but they were blocked quite easily, despite him only having 3 defense dice. So a bit of a wasted turn in more than one way there. The Black Mask Thug with the sniper rifle used up his 2 tokens to make his shot even better. Shot downfield at the Robin who laughs. We're going to have to come down here to show where he shot and also for what happened next. Battered into him. The strength die and the normal shot got through for 6 blood. Once again removing this Robin. He'll be back. So he is gone, but you'll notice there is now 2 suspect markers there. That's because spring cleaning was put into play as a result. The enemy model is removed as a casualty. Before removing it, the opponent places 2 friendly suspect markers within 4, ignoring the normal distance between markers. When both those markers are gone, you score the card for 2. So just so that everyone remembers which markers matter for that spring cleaning, that's why the skulls have been put on them. So it doesn't have to happen this turn, just in general, if both those markers are removed, then that'll score for 2. It's getting very busy over here in this part of the table. The Batman who laughs activated and moved into base to base with the LexCorp Trooper, and we have a few things to cover both for the fight and then the fallout from the fight. The LexCorp Trooper efforted 3 times, forcing the Batman who laughs to do the same, so he's actually getting quite high on his stun damage now, being forced to do that because he's also lost 2 dice to the medium armor as well. But he did manage to do well with his double blood sharp scythe, and managed to do a total of 6, more than enough that, well, I won't remove him just yet because of what happened, but he is dead, meaning a few things happen. 1, Batman who laughs team is scoring They Must Know Pain for doing 6 damage. Another pinched mobster is being put into play because he took damage, so there's also going to be an event marker like there-ish, but because he's worth 30 something rep, as he goes away, another Robin who laughs is freed and appears in base to base as well, so it's a messy part of the table gets messier. The FaceTiming Black Mask Thug activated next, moved his 10 inches in between the buildings here, and then used Computer Intrusion to do a move, only a 2-inch move, but still, on both the spring cleaning related suspect markers, so they're a teeny tiny bit closer now. The newly respawned again Robin who laughs activated without Audacity. Using his free inspired manipulate from his boss, he manipulated the event marker for that new pinched mobster to move it back 4 inches, and then he ran round the corner, hoping to chomp down on the sniper next turn that has to reload. The surviving LexCorp Trooper, who hadn't activated next, is actually the last activation in the turn for organised crime because a few of them have died. He moved up with Audacity and removed the stinky fish that the Robin Hood, who was used to be there, placed down, meaning that for 1, the It Doesn't Look Fresh won't score, because that's gone, so it's discarded now, and he has been poisoned as a result of his actions, but did deny 2 points. So now it's over to the Commissioner and 1 more Robin to take us to the end of a turn. So we can cover both those activations. The Robin who laughs, who was down here, activated and manipulated the token to move it back another 4 inches, making it very, very unlikely that second pinched mobster will ever score. He then shot forwards and ended his turn in base to base with the other event marker to either try and annoy by making that not score next turn, or forcing a first activation to be Lex to make it score. The Commissioner moved and then shot some of his remaining ammo into the FaceTiming Thug, losing dice for moving obviously. Did manage to get him for 2 hits though, for 2 blood, 2 stun. And with that, to the scoring. Already partway through Phase 1 and Phase 2 for Battle Round 3, totally forgot, didn't do the end phase recap for Battle Round 2. That's largely because there was no cards being played, so it just kind of was an oversight. The LexCorp Thug who's poisoned, however, did fail his poison check, so he's taken 1 blood damage. No cards being played as mentioned. The cards that are in play for Organised Crime stay in play, and the Let's Dance that was in play for the Batman Who Laughs didn't score, so it's discarded. So there wasn't much to cover there, but needed to go back and do it. So at the top of Battle Round 3, which we can now cover, even though it was almost entirely ready to go, the Organised Crime crew have taken first activation again. They might end up with a clean sweep, although there's very few of them left. There's only 5 of them, so 4 of them have Audacity. The one that doesn't is the sniper back there who needs to reload. Everyone else does. There is cards to cover though. Both of them from the Batman Who Laughs side, a Phase 1 and a Phase 2. In Phase 1, they are playing a Die Hard, and it is being played on this Robin Who Laughs just because he seems relatively safe down there. Their Phase 2 is a Psychopaths card. Where was this a turn ago? It would have been really good and easily scored. Now, maybe not so much, but it's in play regardless. So, no other cards for the Batman Who Laughs crew. This Robin has Audacity, the Commissioner does, the Batman Who Laughs himself does, and this Robin here out in front of the one who's now got the Die Hard card on him also. So perhaps unsurprisingly, Lex did activate because he had stuff to do. Started by playing the program as a resource for 2. During a friendly model's activation, remove a friendly suspect and move an enemy model 4 inches. He removed the friendly suspect that was right there in the corner by the tree to move the Commissioner 4 inches towards haha, he's in danger. He's right down there. He then moved, manipulated the event marker, put it back here, which means the pinched mobster finally scores for 3. And then, to end his turn, as a special action, he used Persuasive, which just works as long as he can see the model on the Batman Who Laughs, which means the Batman Who Laughs has to activate next, and that means the Commissioner is in for a rough time. Well, upon being forced to activate, the Batman Who Laughs charged down round here and has put down the final stinky fish of the game. Actually no, didn't want them to get discarded. So not necessarily the final one, but at least the third one of the game has been put into play. He wanted to go help Gordon out, but there was no way to score cards by doing that, and that's all that matters. The LexCorp Heavy Trooper activated for Organised Crime, and he was roughly where the camera is looking. Currently he unloaded the last of his ammo on the Commissioner before eventually moving past him down here. Because of the sad life role Commissioner has, he has to take an effort to do an action against him, so he did. He did very well. He lost a die to Bulletproof Vest, but still managed to do 8 damage, which is enough that the Commissioner is out of there. Now, didn't score anything on that, sadly. The Organised Crime have been really getting, whatted by their card draws. But as a resource, is playing Shakedown, and presumably this is okay even though there's no applicable target. When an enemy model suffers damage, another enemy model within 6 suffers scared. That Robin Who Laughs is not quite within 6 of where the Commissioner was, so there's no target available. So it might not be allowed to do this, but Organised Crime really need the help, so that's getting rid of for now. So the Robin Who Laughs with Audacity down here activated next, ran into the Black Mask Sniper, who efforted twice against his triple effort, got 3 hits through for 3 blood, 3 stun with his enervating teeth and claws. Not enough to kill him. He is endurance 5. But it was enough, thanks to him giving himself 2 efforts, that he did get knocked out. Not dead, but knocked out, so he's not getting a turn. And also, they have scored for knocking him out, or knocking down, whichever you want. I'm feeling weird. The FaceTiming Black Mask Thug activated next. Move it into base to base with one of the suspect markers that had been marked as part of the spring cleaning. Removed it, and in doing so, scored Confusion for 2. A friendly model reveals an enemy suspect marker within 8 of the enemy deployment zone. Done and done. Spring cleaning doesn't score yet though, because the other one needs to move. For a special action, he moved that one into base to base with the LexCorp Trooper, and then this marker down here moved into base to base with the Heavy Trooper. However, during his turn as well, the program was played for 2, and they don't have they have more resource points than normal because Lex gives 2 extra, so they don't just have the usual 3. Removed the suspect marker from up there by the shops, in order to move this Robin who hasn't activated yet with Audacity 4 inches further away, just to force him to come forwards a little bit, or to charge forwards if he wants to do something in his turn. Oh, and a little bit of a counterplay from the Batman Who Laughs crew. You'll see there's a suspect marker down there, because so long it's been a gas could be played from hand. When an enemy model reveals one of your suspect markers, the opponent must choose one of their models, place an enemy suspect marker in contact with that model, which has happened, but at the cost of the Batman Who Laughs getting 2 more points. The other Robin Who Laughs down here but didn't have Audacity activated also moved into base to base with the now unconscious sniper. Can't attack though, because the lack of Audacity and the Inspired Manipulate can't be used as a tactical action. But one of those Robins is eating that guy next turn. The other LexCorp Trooper activated removed the suspect marker that had been moved into base to base for him by the Black Mask Thug, meaning that finally, they have to work so hard for their cards. Spring Cleaning scored for 2 because both those cards are gone. However, the other final, I believe, So Long It's Been a Gas, could come out of hand as a result, nullifying the points earned. A suspect marker has been put down in front of Lex for the criteria for this. But then he moved back just enough that the Robin down here with Audacity cannot reach him with a move action, because he's still got a powerful gun on him. That's the last good gun left on the field with ammo. So there's just 2 Robins Who Laugh left to go for the turn, because that's all of Organised Crime done, one of which had Audacity, one of which did not. The one that did not have Audacity has moved into base to base rather, with the heavy LexCorp Trooper without any ammo left, just prep for next turn. The other one, however, came forwards here, put down a suspect marker such that it is just outside of 4 of that one, and outside of 4 of the heavy trooper, and it is a snitch. Finally the Batman cards are starting to get drawn out of the deck. I swear it was shuffled. But that is basically an instant score, because it's the end of the round, but we'll cover that properly in a minute. So at the end of the penultimate round, the sniper Black Mask Thug has actually woken up on a Snake Eyes roll. So he's just knocked down, but he does have two cannibalistic Robins bearing down on him in base to base. The LexCorp Trooper who's poisoned did not take damage from his poison roll, and I believe that's everything else other than the cards in play. The Pinched Mobster stays in play. The marker at this point I don't think it's going to get anywhere near where it needs to score, but there's a bunch of cards to cover for the Batman Who Laughs crew, although it is mostly Joker cards. With the exception of the Snitch we just covered, that scores. The Stinky Fish that the Batman Who Laughs put down scores. The Die Hard also scores. No Robin was hurt in the making of this battle round. But the Psychopath card does not. Knockouts do count for it, but because of those 2 So Long It's Been a Gas cards being played, nullified this, so it's still a net positive of 1 victory point, but you've got to be careful with that kind of stuff. Dawn of the final day, the top of Battle Round 4, and Organised Crime, what little is left of them, did manage a clean sweep for first activations. They are going first again. There is a bunch of cards to cover. For the Batman Who Laughs team, there's only one. It's a corrupted card, phase 1, mostly put into play just to get it out of hand. But if by the end of the turn there's at least 5 models suffering enervating and or poison, and the Robins do enervating on their basic attack, so I guess it's not impossible. No, wait, yes it is, because there isn't even 5 enemies left. Either way, it's in play. Why not? There's a phase 1 card being played by Organised Crime. It's their Die Hard. It's being played on the hand cannon LexCorp Trooper up there, because he seems the most safe. They are also playing a Recovering the Juice, which is it will score if a friendly model reveals a suspect marker and is still in the gaming area at the end of the turn, and that's being played on the LexCorp Heavy Trooper, because he has a bit more HP than the other ones and has a chance to actually live. So let's see how the final turn plays out. So the final battle round got started with the LexCorp normal trooper, the one that is marked with Die Hard, activating. He shot his triple blood laser push hand cannon at the Robin Who Laughs, who's in base to base with the heavy LexCorp Trooper. Didn't really expect to do anything beyond the strength die because he would need a 5 thanks to him being small, but got it. So that is 2 hits through for 6 blood. This Robin has just been eviscerated into a burning stain on the floor, which also meant he could score the other message job for getting a kill for 2 victory points. He then retreated behind the red SUV there to look at the pretty pond and secure that Die Hard for the end game. So of the 2 Robins Who Laugh in base-to-base contact with the sniper, the one who did not have Audacity activated and devoured him. He was knocked down still, so he was still -1 to his defense rolls. 3 hits got through. He already had, 3 blood on him, so only 2 damage would have been enough. So he has been eaten, he is gone, but accidentally kind of stepped into a trap card there, because upon him taking damage, Pinched Mobster can be played, meaning an event marker goes in contact with him and can be manipulated, etc., but he stayed in the deployment zone the entire match, so it instantly scores for 3. The LexCorp Heavy Trooper activated, moved down here and removed the enemy suspect marker that had been next to that Robin right there, meeting half the criteria for recovering the juice. He still needs to live to the end of the turn, but he's got a good chance of doing that. That's really the last play Organised Crime can do. I'm not sure about the Batman Who Laughs yet. Obviously that Robin can try and knock out the heavy Lex Trooper, but beyond that there's only one other play. So this is the one other play I was talking about. The Robin Who Laughs down here with Audacity sprinted up here right into the corner of the table and has put down a snitch right in the enemy deployment zone. Almost guaranteed at this point, in fact definitely guaranteed, no one's going to get to score, and he made sure he was outside of 4 of the sewer grating there. So to take us to the end of the game, this is really the only thing that matters. This Robin Who Laughs activated, got into base to base. Oh, forgot to put it here, but he did effort full 3 times and attacked the heavy Lex Trooper, losing 2 to medium armor. But he's only defense 2. The thing he has going for him is the medium armor, plus he has more willpower and endurance compared to your standard Lex Trooper. That said, 5 hits got through for 5 blood, 5 stun. He's a 6 endurance model, so he's actually alive. He is knocked out, so I had to double check the wording on recovering the juice, and it's in the playing area. So even if he's unconscious, it's still going to score. And with that, there is nothing else anyone can do to score cards, so we're going to go to the cleanup and then to the scoring. So there's no additional cards to be played, so we're just covering the ones in play. The Pinched Mobster that would still stayed in play, not scoring because the marker got moved too far away. The Die Hard does, because the Lex Trooper up there by the pond lived for 2. And recovering the juice, even though the heavy Lex Trooper is unconscious, it just says they have to still be in the gaming area, unconscious or not. So that is a 3-point score. Unfortunately, the snitch for the Batman Who Laughs also scores, which is also 3 points, so that basically nullifies it. And Corrupted does not score. So that is also discarded, and with that we can see the final scores. I think it's safe to say that this is an easy Batman Who Laughs victory today, but let's see by how much, and then talk a little bit about organised crime. So, let's see, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. Not a high score though, to be honest, but 23, an okay score, but obviously, and probably still enough to win. But a little low. They didn't get good cards to start with beyond one thing. Again, I'll talk about in a second. Let's see what Organised Crime got. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. Wait, did they only lose by 1? That was a lot closer than I thought it was. Or 21 or 22. I think I might have miscounted at the end there. That was a lot closer than I thought it was. The Organised Crime had some bad draws. They kept on trying to make Shakedown happen, and it just wasn't. And the Batman Who Laughs has no real need to remove enemy suspect markers, which also doesn't help as a hard counter to Organised Crime. As far as their cards go, the initial hand for the Batman Who Laughs included all 3 Stinky Fish, all 3 It Doesn't Look Freshes. Didn't want that, and we allow 1 mulligan before the game starts here. So mulliganed, shuffle the deck, draw 4 more objective cards after a nice thorough shuffle. They were back in. There was 3 It Doesn't Look Fresh again. I don't know what the odds are of that if you fully shuffle and draw the same 3 cards in a draw of 4, but it happened. And it worked out for the best, as the fish are easier to score than the snitches, because it doesn't really matter if the enemies are there, and if you poison them then you can do the poison kill off the back of that. But yeah, the Batman Who Laughs didn't score as well as they could have done as a result of certain cards not coming out until later. A lot of the Batman cards just happened to not be being drawn. It was all the Joker cards, which are easier to score, but in general they're worth 2, not 3. I was thinking that they were just losing terribly, so now that I know they actually only lost by 1 or 2 points, I'm actually surprised. Lex didn't really get to shine as an intel support character. He had to kind of become the mule for moving the event markers for recovery, for Pinched Mobster. The new Organised Crime models coming in the new 3rd edition starter set, a few of them have very specific rules that affect things like Message Job or the Program or Pinched Mobster. So they might become like must-takes in every Organised Crime list because they make scoring some of their cards easier, and they really do need the hand to help them out. They need to work so hard to score so little, and Two-Face's deck is still probably worse. And as I say, I can't complain because it was a very close match in the end. It didn't feel like it though, and that's the weird part. But anyway, I sincerely hope you enjoyed. Thank you very much for watching. We'll hopefully see an unboxing of that new starter set soon. The models for it look great, and their stats and rules are very interesting. But more about that later. Thank you for watching. Ta-ta for now.